Well,
Hello.
you beat me to the punch.
Hello.
Hello.
He's always going for it.
I know. I love it. Nice. I can see what the show is going to be like today.
So today we have our dear friends David and Pascal Keizer.
Yes, we do. And we have them for a very special show talking about their dad and him being in a nursing home and the struggles of seeing and living with someone as they deteriorate and having to deal with that reality. So
Yeah.
it's a quite a somber version, and it's a welcome to a wonderful chaos. So this is going to be each chaos has its own aspect or little sort of flavor to it, and this one is certainly going to be a little bit more intense than our normal chaos, I would think.
We have tissues.
I do. I left them on the counter for myself, um, and yet my first question to them isn't going to be all that intense. It's going to be something very personal to me, and which one of them is more attractive, actually, as far as I'm concerned. Because both of them certainly have a degree of photogenicness to them, if that's such a word.
They look like they've been photoshopped.
Yes, they look like they've been photoshopped. That's a very good point.
Like I photographed both of them but the funny thing is it's not only that they have a beautiful physique,
Uh-huh.
it's really an inside and
Yeah,
outside, like, or else we wouldn't be having them right now.
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's sort of funny because like I sort of became more acquainted with them because they became the face of every course or training that's going on in the Netherlands. Like if there's ever anyone that wants to like promote their course, always somehow it's either David or Pascal or both of them on the picture.
Exactly.
It's sort of like that's the guy we want everyone else to emulate and think, oh, we want to be like that guy when we go to the course.
Yeah.
So that's I think I got more familiar with them through their pictures than ever even knowing them. Actually, that could be. Um, I would love to bring them both on. To start with, we were only going to have David on, but David said, "Hey, if I'm doing this, why don't I bring my brother on as well?"
Exactly.
So
Do we start with the clip?
I would love to. And basically, just to sort of for people that are joining, this, the chaos sort of begins when we find moments that touch us, and then we think, wow, that should be on the chaos. And I think it might have been a week ago, David Kaiser, I don't know if he's the younger or the older of the two, but David, he posted a video and I saw the video, and yeah, it brought tears to my eyes. And then I thought, wow, what an incredible moment to be with him and sort of carry on from that video. So I thought to start, and before bringing both of them on, it'd be nice to show that video,
Let's do it.
and then we can do that. So we'll show that video. We're just getting used to all of this technology, so you'll have to give us a minute to organize this. But here's the video.
Make it a full screen.
Thank you. That is beautiful. Thank you, David Keizer, for letting us know that the vocals weren't working. That's a very great. The sentiment of him came through. We could have translated it, but there's a special feature that I forgot to press. So let's just do that once again. I'll teach Bambos this so that he sees the mistake I made and helps me in the future not to make that mistake ever again. And we'll play you again. We start from the beginning, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll start right from the beginning. Thank you for making me aware of
Let's
this.
see. I think this works. First of all, happy Easter, everyone. The ones I talk to every year, the ones I talk to every month, the ones I talk to once a week, the ones I never talk to, but are on here. Happy Easter. Best wishes to all of you. I want to share something that was on my mind the past weeks. I was about to visit my dad today, but due to the restrictions, only my mom is allowed to visit like once every few days in front of the window with 2 meters apart. And it's been rough. He's in a nursing home for the past 3 years, and all these restrictions make it difficult to keep in contact. Yeah, and I wrote this poem. I've been writing a few poems lately. It helps me to clear my head, to get rid of emotions, or better to say, integrate them. So I want to share this poem live. I think it's way better shared live than if it's written down. So to all of you that wants to hear it, here it goes. Dead. Is it weird that I'm sad about the memories that fled and these perceptions that I had about was my father, good or bad? And I'm speaking out his rhyme about his feelings that are mine. It almost feels like it's a crime that you might leave before my prime. Because I know these times are rough, that you almost had enough. And although I might act tough, it is often just a bluff. Using these senses to vent, I keep on looking where it went. The time we've never got to spend, all because of your descent. The last thing that I want to say is that I wish there was a way to make sure that you would stay and have another day of play. Thank you guys for listening. I know I'm not the only one who thinks about their loved ones, their elders these days. So I hope it brings some inspiration to all of you. Sleep well.
We're kind of debating if we would cut it, like just listen to the first part before the poem or just the poem.
Yeah.
Or like all of it.
Yeah. And we thought, let's let all of it play.
Yeah, it's just beautiful to experience David in this way also.
Yeah. So I'd say it would be a nice time to bring them both on now.
Yeah, let's do it.
This will be our first time having two guests on at the same time. You press the video. Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Is there a way that how do we do this, Bambos? We can put ourselves maybe here. No, that's not.
I think that's good.
That's good.
Yeah. and I'm gonna center them on
So,
the screen.
What's interesting for me is that when we talked, we first went to David. We said we know David better. At least I know David better. Pascal, I know, is David's brother. And so when I went to David, he said, "Well, why don't I have my brother on with me?" And then the first thought that went into my head was two. Is like it felt like, wow, it's going to be hard only with David, but with his brother, there may even be things we discussed that the two of them haven't even discussed yet. So that was that made it even more emotionally grounding for me when we went into this talk today.
How does it feel to be here with us and actually watching that video?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, it feels. I feel my heart pumping rapidly, and just it touches me. See myself speaking out this poem again. I think I've read it like 20, 30 times by myself right now, and it still brings up emotions every time. But it's nice just to read it and just connect to that feeling, and it helps me to delve into the emotion. And on the other hand, I'm really happy to see you guys. It's been a while that we spoke. See my brother. He's busy these days as well. So glad to be on.
Yeah, the last time I saw you two was on Pascal's birthday. David organized a surprise Zoom gathering.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I actually wrote a message for Pascal. I forgot about that.
The best.
Pascal, how was it for you to see your brother sort of out himself like that? I know David. David, in general, I haven't necessarily seen him go that sort of vulnerable on like Facebook. So how was it for you to see him in that way?
When I was just watching him, I noticed, probably also because just going into this talk, it's I feel it's scared because I know it's a very sensitive topic to me, and conversations can bring up those emotions that I'm also afraid to touch. But I'm also very grateful to be here. And I noticed when I'm watching the video, I was tearing up a bit. I was getting emotional because I can resonate completely with what he shared. Like it's like every word hits home to me. So I share this experience. Yeah.
I've noticed in my life there's like 3 categories of saying goodbye to someone that are incredibly challenging, right? And not that it isn't always challenging, but I found that suicide, things like dementia and Alzheimer's, and there was a third one that I can't remember now. And the reason why the dementia was so important or so difficult that I found is that people have to say goodbye before someone's gone. And I was wondering how that has been for you, the two of you, in that regard.
Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's been a long process. I think it started 2013. That he started to forget things. 2 years later, he started stopping his work. Started stopped to drive his car, and it's been just letting go of that father figure, of that place that he held in the family. And it's I have to say, for the first 5 years, I think 2013, 2018, I didn't feel like I processed a lot. I just saw it happen, and then in the past 2.5 years, 3 years, I've been doing a lot of work myself on just development, personal development, emotional development, and I accessed all the grief a lot in the past 2 years. So I had moments where I would just bawl out for like an hour or so. And there's many days where I just think of him, but nothing comes up. So especially the past months, I notice I usually tear up like at least once or twice a week, just because of what's happening, because he's so close, and because it feels so near his death. Especially the past month, he's been degenerating really rapidly. Since nobody can stimulate him anymore. He really enjoys touch. He enjoys walking outside, with all these things had to come to a stop. So yeah, it has been more and more on my mind lately, and yeah, it's been a process.
You say that like from 2013 it started.
Around 2013, but it's always hard to access to directly point at like when it exactly starts. It's a long process. It can happen 10 to 20 years.
And when did you realize that it was not just him getting a bit old and forgetful, but there was something more at hand? Like, what was that point?
I think it was around 2012, 2013 when he started losing a lot of stuff. Like he lost his car keys twice, and we had to get like a new lock for the front door, and then he found them again in his jacket. It was another 500 euros, and we were all like, how can you forget these things? In his jacket. But yeah, it was around that time, 2012, 2013. Yeah.
And was there a point, like, it's sort of interesting because when you see him losing it in his jacket, like the first feeling has to be, I love you, but you're an idiot, right? Like, because in some ways, this, you have to know this. So, like, how do you like navigate that moment where you realize, wow, he isn't able to even make sense of what's going on?
Yeah, it's yeah, when you say that, it feels like that's been playing for a much longer time. Like, I love you, but you're an idiot. And as I was criticizing him a lot for the way he was behaving in the past. Like, he's definitely on a scale of autism or Asperger, one of these two. There's like symptoms of it. But social situations were never really his thing. He found it really hard to behave socially and to access the situation. And I was often felt ashamed for him, for the way he acted. And I think for many years I've judged that in myself as well. To judge the craziness, the weirdness in myself. And that slowly begin to let that go and allow other parts to be.
So almost, if I hear you, to forgive yourself for not seeing that that was just a disease and not him per se.
Exactly, to see it as part of his diseases, and not to say it's good or bad, but it's exactly who he is, and love all of it, love all of him.
Before we go to Pascal, are you guys still allowed to visit and touch, given the circumstances?
No.
Well, they switched something last week. They told us that now once a week, another family member than my mom is allowed 30 minutes a day. Another family member than my mom can go, or two people can go at the same time once a week for 20 minutes. So I went there, 2 or 3 days ago with my sister. It was nice to see him again since start of March. But then, then it's behind the window. He's locked up in his room. There's nurses next to him, so they hold the phone next to his mouth. But communication is already so difficult.
I have a question. When you see him, does he recognize you?
Next question. That's what's going on too. That's what's going on in my mind a lot as well. I feel there's times when he recognizes me. For example, when we were calling him by phone, and then we do FaceTime, and then at one moment we were singing him songs through the phone, and then he smiles and he's staring up as well. So I think he recognizes things then. Also, the last time I was with him, at the 11th of March, he would still recognize me. It took like 5-6 minutes, but then he was like, David.
Yeah.
Yes. And this last time, me and my sister were just mainly sending information, like talking. He was receiving, listening. And at one point he said like, David, because I think the nurse was talking about it, like asking questions about his son, grandson, and then he just said my name. So I know that there's moments that he recognizes bits of me, but I think for the most part, he just stares down. He has I think a lot of pain in his neck, and he just stares down, eyes almost closed. And sometimes when I even try to go all the way down to the window and try to look at him, sometimes it feels like he looks through me. His mind is somewhere else. It's just it's the disease he has. It's not just Alzheimer. It is not Alzheimer. Alzheimer is what 50% of the people with dementia have, and I think like around 10-20% have Lewy body disease, or maybe even less, 5%. And it's there's a lot of symptoms of Parkinson in there.
Oh.
So next to that, his mind is degenerating, his body degenerates rapidly as well. And yeah, like he can properly move, he can properly talk, speak. He loses the strength of his tongue, his mouth, everything.
How is it for you when you see that he can't sort of recognize you, and you have to like kind of contort yourself to sort of create contact? What's the feeling in you when you're like longing or trying to move in that connected space and seeing how it may not be possible?
I think helplessness is mainly there, like not being able to touch. I think I mainly yearn for touch because that's the reason the method I've been mainly using to create some type of connection. I would usually take his hand, and when we would go for a walk, press his hand, and then he would feel me, or I would massage his hands or feet when I would put in his shoes, and he would smile, touch his face. Yeah, that's a feeling of helplessness and sadness as well.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Pascal?
It's nice to listen to David speak and his conversation. Like I said before in the video, it's like it's very similar to my own experience. So what he shares, I'm like, yeah, I feel you, and nice too. In that sense, too.
Like who was Dad before all this happened? Like, what was the relationship?
Which relationship?
Oh, with your father before all this happened. So
my connection with before all this happened, just shared. My father was diagnosed with this disease in 2013. But I would say like since 2000 he had some sleeping problems. His attention and his memory was already declining for quite a long time. But I've always, like, looking back now, also my father was very genuine, warm man. Clumsy at times, and like David says, a bit socially searching for like difficulty to kind of connect. In I don't know. It's quite hard to explain, but I think David just tried to word it as well. And to be honest, when I was a teenager, I struggled with that quite a bit. I kind of had a feeling of missing at that point, like when I was 16, 17, I felt like some pain, resentment of like feeling missing more of a father figure. And also because like, I felt emotionally not like we didn't have like a lot of conversations, or we weren't doing a lot of things together. And I've noticed, I'm now 26. I was 19 when he was diagnosed, and around the same time I left the house. And I moved to Amsterdam. And in the past years, I've been reflecting more also on, just like David said, seeing him as he is and how he has been, and kind of making contact with that. And I think this disease it's really been an invitation to understand him and let go of expectations of what he should be, because I really had this feeling at some point. I was like, I don't want to hold resentment, grudges before, like, until he dies, and then later feel like I should have connected with him more. So I think in the past 5 years I wrote a couple of letters to him, and just expressing gratitude, reflecting on the connection. Yeah, I noticed with time it also went more and more from still trying to have conversations about what I felt like was still had to be said, to more and more just trying to be present and enjoy just holding his hand or having a walk, and really trying to soak in the moment of being with him and seeing him alive. And that.
Like, as you guys are witnessing your father in these stages, do you ever feel like, oh, this could happen to me? Did these thoughts cross your minds?
Yeah, it's crossed my mind before. And, I was thinking actually this week about, like, that's if I would feel like this would be happening and I would be diagnosed with such a disease, neuro disease. I was thinking, would I want to let the disease continue its course? Would it, like, thinking about like euthanasia, these kind of things, if it would be necessary? Like, I was reflecting on how would I deal with that, because it's if I see it now, how what's happening to him, I'm like, fuck, I'm not sure if I would want to go through that process all the way until that. It's like, yeah, it's difficult to say what's right or wrong in that, but it crossed my mind for sure.
Well,
Same.
I'm not sure if your father is aware of what's happening to him. It sounds like, but apparently there's a lot of consequences. The people around him who are connected to him. But
Yeah.
I don't have any experience. I'm just talking out of my imagination.
Yeah,
You know-
just go ahead, Annie.
No, it's just my aunt had, I assume it was Alzheimer's. Now I categorize all dementia as Alzheimer's because it's sort of easy, I guess, and not appropriate, but my brain is that way. She, as far as I know, had Alzheimer's, and I would call her, I guess, once every 2-3 weeks, and she'd always act as if she knew me, but I knew she didn't. And I saw that she kind of learned how to navigate not knowing. And so I would often call her and just like kind of absurdly just say, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then let her say, I love you, I love you, I love you. And almost just be with her in love without any necessarily attachment to even thinking that she needed to know who was giving it to her, you know? And
beautiful. So you didn't make it about yourself?
No. Well, I mean, in that sense, all I knew is I desired to just shower her in love, and she didn't need to know necessarily who it was coming from or even remember it. And it was just that moment itself was just beautiful. And so, like, I cherished the moment of, it was almost like a selfless and not selfless, because I was getting the beauty of the moment as well, right? Yeah. And that happened. She went a lot of years, so it was a lot of a lot of years of just giving that love without necessarily having a connection to the feeling like I needed to have anything come back, right?
Before we continue, we have some comments.
Yeah, it's mine.
Yasmine just commented, "What a bizarre story, Andy."
I don't know what makes that bizarre, but that's nice.
And she says, must be so weird to sometimes feel more connected to him than other moments. Then he seems gone. Or is it the feeling is just gone? Interesting psychology going on here.
Yeah, if I think about that, if the feeling is gone or it seems gone, yeah, it all comes down to the question: what is that? What is he? What am I connected to?
Yeah.
And yeah, My whole life, it's been the strongest memories of him has been, I think, before my age of 12. After that, I think between 12 and 20, I was quite addicted to video games together with my brother. And it was only my dad. Our main relationship was just him coming into the room, yelling that we had to stop, and me yelling back.
Mm.
I don't recall a lot of trips away. I think I went to London once together with him. We all got like a road trip for a 12th birthday. But yeah, he was never really the person who would ask questions like, "How are you doing with women?" or "How are you doing with school?" or "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "How are finances going?" He was more focused on his own thing. On his he liked singing, he liked theater, he liked dancing, those kind of things. Yeah. So I always ask myself like, what has always the connection be? Like it's been so many years that I really felt like he was a dad to me. That for many years I haven't really felt that connection or put that label on him.
Mm.
That might always also be the reason that I often call him by his name and not by dad. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And did that change through this process?
I did reflect on it a lot during this past 2 years. Like, what does it do to me that I see him as different than a father, a normal father, whatever that means. Yeah,
Wow.
but I'm still. It's not certain. It's just a feeling that it's not often there. It's yeah. I usually see him as someone who we need to take care for, like my nephew of 2 years old. It's crazy to see my nephew like pass him. Like my nephew's running around and he's so curious about everything. He's so alive. And my dad is just always like sitting as small as he could be, like food is. Yeah,
It's
just
interesting. As you say that, it kind of it hits me really emotionally. I mean, even if I say it, I think I'll fucking lose it. But it sounds like in saying the word dad, you have a connection of what that means to you, and that word you can't use at this moment because you can't allow that connection to feel. That's how it processes in me. As if to say, if I say dad, what I'm really saying is the person there that can't be there for me the way I need a dad to be there for me.
exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I just wanna acknowledge to both of you, like it's pretty remarkable that we're sitting here with you both.
Mm.
And I'm still a bit drawn to Pascal, maybe because
The
he's on
quiet
the.
one.
Well, I'm drawn to him because he also said I'm here, but I feel a bit nervous because there might be things that we touch upon that are difficult. And I'm wondering if you want to use the opportunity that we're sitting here as four guys, four brothers, four friends, to open up about things, to the degree that you feel comfortable, actually.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if I get to a point where I don't feel comfortable, I can always share that. But yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All good. Yes. Bring it on.
Oh, so that was an invitation, Pascal. Is there something that you feel?
Yeah. What matters for myself? I think David just shared this, but with something that's been really just painful in these past few months, especially now with the coronavirus. Like I know there's a big shift actually happening in the past 2 months, I would say 1.5 months, because yeah, we can't visit. Like the David just shared like now they're allowed since this week to visit him like once a week in this way, but I haven't seen him physically for 2 months, and it's exactly at this time that he's. I feel like he was already like basically going down, and I think now it's going down quite rapidly. I'm not sure if it's also because of the social isolation, but like he lost like 6 kilograms in the past 3 weeks of his weight, and like this 5.5, 6 kilograms, and I don't know. It was just heartbreaking to feel like I can do video calls, but yeah, like I noticed that it's even confronting for me to start a video call, and like I want to do it sometimes. I'm like, okay, tomorrow I can postponing that sometimes because it's last time I did that, I was on call for 15 minutes, and after like 1 minute, the camera like turned to the right and I only saw the wall, and at some point I saw like have his face like laying because he couldn't move, and I hear him like just mumbling, and it was like it was almost it was heartbreaking to see. And then at some point the camera just turned away and I couldn't hear his voice anymore. And for the last minute I was trying to speak and say goodbye to him, and then I hung up the phone. And it felt lonely. It felt so lonely to feel like I would just want to hold his hand or just hug him at that moment. Like maybe it's even just for myself that I can feel like I can also still have a moment of connection with him, because we were sharing whether he still recognized, like maybe I want him to at the moments when I see him smile, I hope that he recognizes me because it's also my pain mostly. And I don't know what's going on inside of him, but it could very well be a reflection of me hoping to still have some moment of connection. Me trying to imagine that in whatever way that's still there.
Yeah, that was when I mentioned one of the greatest pains that I've often experienced is when I'm being with someone in this situation, is that you feel as if the person's gone, but they're not. So you can't mourn their death, but in some ways they're already gone. So you're stuck almost in limbo. Yeah.
Like, thank you, Pascal. Have you guys always been so close, or has this been as a result of what's happening with Papa? Like like a better question would be, how did this impact the connection between everyone in the family?
This situation the past 6 months or the past like 7 years?
Past 7 years?
7 years.
I'll let you answer it the way that you want to answer it.
How does it affect the situation in the family? Well, my mom was carrying the burden for the most time, the past 6-7 years. He was living with her from 2013 to 2018 still, 2017. And she was working a part-time job, managing finances, managing the house, managing him, because he was slowly declining. She was just cooking mostly, and every time he tried to help, he would just like create more disorder in the house. And she had so much stress in the past 6-7 years. Also on work, she had some thing with her manager, and she stopped work prematurely on 62 last year because she was just so stressed and the blood levels were high, and all led to a heart attack last January, where she luckily survived. But there was still one artery that needed some more unclogging, and the appointment was meant to be done in March, but it's been cancelled because of the coronavirus as well. So there's still something that's playing in the background as well. And apart from that, for me and Pascal, I think it's I've struggled a lot with school, for example, as well, and I think it's been a pity that my mom has been just so occupied and my dad has always been so he's been degenerating so much that I felt lost a lot, like finding my own way through school, through relationships, through finances especially. And still feeling getting more structured, but still feeling like I missed like guidance, like Pascal mentioned.
Thank you.
If I can,
I see Natalie. Oh, go on, Pascal.
if I can add something to that, I feel like my brother and I, he shared that he missed having conversations about life and about career and a woman, about different things. And I feel like, at least for me, the brother role that David had, always felt like kind of being a father figure in a different way, also for just like growing together and kind of, as men connecting and making each other stronger men. Like of course, in the end, it can't fill up because my father's still my father, and that's my father's position in the family. But I feel like the connection with my brother has been a huge support in feeling this kind of masculine energy in the house.
I'm really struggling to hold my tears.
Thank you for sharing.
Natalie asks, what do you notice change the most about yourselves, and how do you see life as a result of this? So in your life, relationships, connections.
Well, I always felt like, because we didn't have our dad to figure things out, to tell us things, like it was up to us to figure things out by ourselves and to educate ourselves in a way. So for the past 10, 12 years, I've been hardcore trying to learn everything about life, how to live a good life. That's been a question that's on my mind a lot. Reaching towards different philosophies like Stoicism or Buddhism, trying to find people in my life that I consider being a good father figure for me. And there's many people have come along the way, and many people helped me so far. But I think it's definitely, just the struggle that with having no real guidance, that you just you have to figure out things by yourself. But it makes you stronger in a sense as well.
And for you, Pascal?
Yeah, something that was just came up for me is, especially in the past few years, 1-2 years, reflecting more and more that it's really teaching me to take people and take life as it is more and more, because I can't change anything about this disease. It's slowly dying, and made me become more grateful for sharing moments that I have with people in my life, and not take it for granted as much. And now more than ever, my father. I'm just really not sure how that's going to be in the next few months as well. So it's, but yeah, I would say that is one of the biggest things to take life as it is, and surrender to this as well. And what David shared, I don't know if it's due to that, maybe partly, but in the past 5 to 10 years, I've really enjoyed also educating myself in different ways, reading, being curious about life, and I do feel like I've now shared, and David shared, at least for me, some pains about what I missed, but some things I've been really grateful for my father is also like his endless curiosity, and he's been so, I feel like I've always really been in the moment, just making a lot of jokes, and he was sometimes in his own world, and it was difficult socially, but it was so beautiful to see as well, and I'm actually missing those moments. Like if I look back at them, it was just like, it was a remarkable man. I'm saying was because I haven't seen him in a while. It's just so, yeah. Sometimes I'm reflecting was in my journal, like recently, like sometimes it almost feels like he's already dead, and that's quite a weird thing to say, because it almost feels like I'm not honoring him. But that's like,
I recognize that as well. Like, often writing about him as if he was, about the moments that he was, the characteristics that he had, and sometimes, like you say, it makes me feel guilty to see him as that I consider him dead while he's still there, and these conflicting things happening out of me. Yeah.
You know, one of the things that I've found in life, a lot of my work will be around this sort of projection. We project onto something, and then we have an expectation when we do that. And what I've seen, especially with loved ones, is that the needs and the wants and the desires are so deep with, like, especially a parent, that to let go of that. You know, when you mentioned calling him by his name and not dad anymore, like there's a process by which we no longer project that thing onto the person that we desire, because we can't get back the thing that we're like needing in ourselves. And that process is so emotionally tiring. That's what I know from my own experience in that area. It's just very, very tiring. Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up a comment, guys, from Nadine. She's actually praising you. I had also lost a lot of the connection with my dad before he passed. We were much closer when I was younger. I felt very sad and angry for a long time that I didn't have time to heal or perhaps change our relationship.
Yeah.
So it looks like what you're doing, you're also inviting people to heal themselves.
Yeah, what comes up when I read that is that I've often sometimes felt in the past few years like it kind of felt unfair that when I wasn't like just David, I had a similar experience. I was gaming a lot, just in my room a lot in high school, and at that time I was just being a teenager and kind of disconnecting from my parents, but also from my, in that sense, from my father. And then actually the moment I was 18, 19, 20, 21, the moment I started to kind of figure myself out and open up and get more curious about my parents, that's the moment I kind of couldn't connect in the way I wished to anymore. I'm thinking like, how would my connection now be if he wouldn't have had this disease, you know? But then if I think about it, I'm also like, what? Then I'm trying to change how things are and trying to get at this moment, and I'm really just trying to see how can I make this connection just the way it is as good as possible and honor him in this as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same. And like you just shared as well, it makes you be so much more present with the day-to-day, the week-to-week, like what do you want to do and how can we enjoy each moment to the fullest. Now we're still here and alive and with a good conscience. Because his sister, she had psychosis when she was 27. And it's something I always been afraid of as well. There's times when I had done drugs and then you had a bad trip and you would think like you would stay in the same thing again and again and again.
Wow.
And and these thoughts come to mind. And that's a reason as well I've been spending the majority of my time reading and learning about health and like trying to like create such a schedule for myself and learn about my body to make sure that I don't go to that place, that there's no people that need to take care of me when I grow older. Yeah.
Nadine sends a message or asks the question, how do you help and support yourselves in this time?
You want to start, David?
Sure. Shall I start? Okay. Well, for me, myself, I've been creating a really solid morning routine where I do a lot of different things. Emotional stuff, shaking, breathing, meditating, working out, lots of different things that I learned over the years have helped me a lot to just create a stable and strong peace of mind. And that has helped me a lot. That's one thing. And the writing and talking about the situation with friends and family. I think I can honestly say I have like 50 to 100 people that I can just talk to about any situation with. That's so fortunate to have, because I know there's many people who don't have that level of intimacy with a lot of people. But I feel really grateful for all the friends in my life and all the acquaintances and families that are supporting. And how do you help and support? I'm here with my mom right now. I also like to, one thing was to get rid of my rent because of the virus hit and my income went down. But on the other hand, it's nice to support her as well, especially during this time. And yeah, so that's how I support her as well. Go ahead, Pascal.
I noticed for myself that I mostly try not to be too hard on myself. Yeah, I've had this feeling in the past, until, let's say, like last year around this time, to really always ask more of myself with working out, with learning, with many things, and feeling like it was never enough, and it kind of burned me out at some point. And I'm happy that I kind of did reach a limit with that at some point, because I feel like right now, also with this Corona situation and the state that my father is in, I'm doing my master's degree right now, and I'm just trying to do my best, and not say I'm not going to do it at all, but I'm also fine with, if it's needed, to do like a month or 2 months longer to finish this, because most of all I want to keep myself emotionally balanced, to make sure I can provide for my own grounding. So I was doing regular walks, and actually not try to do like 50 hours of work, a week of work, just to kind of take it easy for myself and not judge myself for that either. I feel like if I kind of have the idea that if I would push myself too much and not also make time to process these things, I'm gonna regret that in the future. Yeah. What is life about? Is it about getting fast to the finish line, or just also being present with what's here? So,
Yeah, these moments are the ones that teach us the lesson over and over again, that we can't run away from the emotion that's there. Yeah. There's Yasmine asks a question that's kind of like an intense question.
Can't they bring him outside and do the euthanasia outside with the boys and doctor there? The freedom of choice of David and Pascal to take this risk, right?
well, when my father got sick some years ago, my mother was very aware also that there was need for like a declaration of will for euthanasia. And my father said that he didn't want this at that point.
Okay.
So that if he would get to a point where he might want to euthanasia, he said like he would want to let the disease have its course. And at this point, legally, he's not in a state where he can make a decision for himself. So, more from a legal standpoint, that it's not something that can be done at this moment, from what I know, at least.
And if it could be done, would both of you sort of feel comfortable saying, yeah, I think it'd probably better to just be with him in his last moments?
Yeah, I think I'd like it to better be something that can be done with all of us around, and instead let him die in his sleep when we haven't seen him for like a month.
Yeah.
And I see him struggle as well the past months, past years. He's been reading books about like not eating and starving yourself. And he's been reading books about euthanasia as well. I think it's a thing that's really on his mind, but communication is just so difficult that right now there's no way to exactly make sure what he wants or what he doesn't want. So yeah.
We have 6 minutes,
Yeah.
guys.
We've got a few more questions. The question is, how do we want to spend those last 6 minutes?
Yeah. What will be the most difficult thing to share with him if he would be able to receive it?
Something that comes up for me now is sharing the pain, or the kind of the pain that I felt for what I missed, or what I like saying that like to him, and him hearing me out here, that like would really would kind of break. Like actually, like in the past few years, some moments actually I've not sure, out of wanting him to still, I think partly also him being in a position, I would say, and I really do feel that way. It's just mixed, but saying like I feel very grateful for the connection and feel very happy and proud of him. But there's also some part of this pain that I feel like I felt also in the past 2 years. Like, is it now right to say that when he's in this disease? So I was kind of weighing that out at that moment, and I feel like really being honest about what's really the pain that's on my heart. That will be very difficult for sure. Yeah.
Likewise, I think it's about the shame of myself, the way I acted as a teenager, the times I neglected him, the times I didn't do something with him, but also the anger and just openly talking about all the feelings that came up the past 10 years. Yeah, and also expressing gratitude is just always touching, and like acknowledging all the beautiful parts that he did play in my bringing up, and the gratitude that I have for him, for the person that I am today. Yeah.
Oh, you guys came up pretty amazing. I mean, I consider you as really good friends of mine. I don't have many male friends.
No. Or female for that matter.
Or female for that matter. But yeah, like you guys came up pretty good as far as I'm concerned. So what contributed to that blessing? I'm talking about the inner parts now, yeah?
What contributed? I think my mom, for a big part. She played a major role in like taking both.
Yeah, obviously we're spending a lot of time talking about Papa, but
yeah.
So what's happening with Mama?
I think she just took both the role of the father and the mother for all of life, and yeah, there's a lot of admiration and gratitude for that.
Yeah.
Like I see her in the background moving around. What was that, David?
This is nice having her next to me.
I'd love to bring him on, actually, just to sort of have a picture of your dad, because I saw you posted it. So I think that was just so that is him, I'm gathering.
Yes, that's him.
And what's his name?
Karel Jan is his name.
Wow. I hate that name.
Say it again.
It's Karel, Carel, and then there's a space, the Jan.
Karjan?
Karel Jan.
Karel Jan. And when was this photo taken, David?
Yeah, as mentioned about the picture, it's 11th of March.
Oh, 11th of March. Oh, this was really recent.
From a walk. Yeah.
He's not a bad looking guy.
Oh no, like especially when he was my age.
Yeah.
Wow. Great looking guy.
Handsome.
I was jealous on these pictures.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. So we're coming to a close.
We're coming to a close.
Thank you too. When I saw your video, obviously it like hit me, and I thought, wow, Bambos knows I like to play on the couch, so he must have thought Andy's really going crazy if he's pulling on people that are going to force him to stay fully emotionally connected the whole time with these people in real scenarios that are living their intensity. And I'm really grateful you guys came on.
Thanks for the invite. It was
Great.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that like by being there and showing and like allowing people to see how you're going through this, obviously you support a lot of other people who are going through the same but don't necessarily feel comfortable enough putting themselves out there. So
Exactly.
thank you for all those people who are also experiencing it, but not knowing how to deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to thank all the people that made comments.
Yeah.
We didn't get everyone up, but I see Anna's comment, which touches me.
Mm.
Anna is also a dear friend, and we've also had her on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
Love
you.
you guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.